morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day you're coming here. I welcome you. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. And today we're going to go over how I start my seeds and what I have growing in this house. This is the seed starting table, but this is just the beginning of the process. This is normally where you see me starting seeds or upplanting a seedling. So let's get to it. How to grow successful seedlings at home. So sometimes you're doing one thing and then you start doing another, because initially I was just going to go over all of the things that I was growing in the seed starting station. And then I was like, you know what? Some people need, there may be some people who want to know how to successfully start your seeds, because it doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. This is where I plant the seeds, right? This is where I plant the seeds. This is where you normally see me. So right here, I have rutabagas, Laciano kale, chives, wax beans. What is this? This is collards too. That's not a good sign. There's no germination. Cabbage, Romanesco, broccoli, salad bowl, lettuce, Chinese broccoli, and spinach. None of these have germinated yet, as far as I know. I might have saw one seedling. I think I see one fledgling seedling right here. So once they start to sprout, right? Make sure there's no water on here. And there is. It was deceiving me. Once they start to sprout and I get a germination, even if it's one, we're going to move this over to the grow station. Let's go. So here we are at the grow station with our little seedling, right? Let me turn this light on. It didn't make much of a difference, did it? But here is my seedling. See that? There's one coming up. So what I do is I put it under the light. If you do not once they germinate, if you do not put them under direct light, they become leggy, and then they'll just, after a while, they just pass away. The seedlings need light. Once they germinate, in most cases, except for chamomile, in order for that joker to germinate, it has to have light. Maybe time, because my time didn't start till I put it under this light. So once they germinate, you make sure you put them where they can get some light. The UV lights that we have in here, or the lights that I have in here, these little shop lights, the rays of this shop light is not as strong as the rays outside. So seedlings, if you have a seedling start station, I recommend you leave the light on almost continuously. So when I looked it up, it's recommended to have these lights on for at least 16 hours. I just leave them on for 24 hours a day. I did cut them off last night, which is rare. The lights draw a lot of energy. I have this on a power station right now, and they are drawing, these three lights are drawing 322 watts. So I don't know if that's a lot to you, but to me, if you have it on a solar power station, it's a lot. The solar power station is saying that it could run for another 5 hours and then it's done. So anyway, you put them under your solar lights. All right. So here's the fun part. Here's the seedling, right? Once I think the seedling is strong enough to withstand some pressure, I put them outside to harden off. And if you don't have a greenhouse, well, you're going to have to take them in and out. Initially, I was putting them on the table for 15 minutes. I bring it back inside. Then I increase it slowly, like by 15-minute intervals or max 30 minutes. In Texas sun, you cannot leave stuff out. So be careful with that. But I have a greenhouse, which alleviates some of the pressure. So I take these and I move them from the grow station and put them directly into the greenhouse. So once they're big enough like this, I have these cement trays that I bought from the big box store, from Home Depot and Lowe's. I'm just going to say it because I mentioned Amazon already. I go ahead and put them in here. There is a reservoir in here, And I try to keep water in these trays so that I don't have to go back and forth and water them. Do not go over, I'd say, how much is this? This one is kind of high. Over a ½ inch of water in these trays. You don't want them to get root rot. Once they get huge and healthy like these are right now, well, then we take them out of this station, right? And move them into the yard, which is out here. You don't see it right now. Oh, don't close your door, girl. Oh, during the day, I also leave the greenhouse door open. Closing it does not allow as much airflow, and this thing gets super hot. There's also a little thing right there that I leave open. So I leave the door open on the greenhouse. Let me put this plant here to keep this door from blowing closed. All right, so then if you're ready, you can put them out here. Sometimes I don't have time to put them in the ground, so I bring them out of the greenhouse and put them on top of this table. Right now I have a bee house right here, but I'm gonna move this. Here's some moringa that I just moved out of the greenhouse. This is butterfly peas, and this is some cabbage. Here we are. They're gonna go on the ground in a minute. So is the cucumbers. They were all in the greenhouse, and they all did that transition that I was talking about with you all. Now, everybody's grow station or they're growing, the way they grow things is different. I'm just doing what works for me. I progressed because initially I was just growing everything on the table with a couple of lamps, $20 lamps that I had. Then, you know, as you grow, you're like, man, I could grow more. And especially when you go to that supermarket and you're like, oh my God. I went there the other day. I was so upset. So get back to what I was saying. So the more initially I started off really small. I started off growing a couple of plants, and then it blossomed. This is not a huge garden. I am going to expand it because my potatoes are not ready. And I don't want to put it anywhere. I don't like watering. So I need everything to be in one central location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the beds. I'm going to extend them out by about 6 feet. And I'm going to run rows up and down here so that I can still get to the sweet potatoes and get them out without, I don't want to interfere with these because they are not ready. They have not died back and they are not yellow. So, yeah, and then, some of the crops are still coming in like this. This is sorrel. I know some of it is flowering, but sorrel is ready to harvest. So I'm not going to mess with that either. There's a couple of crops in here that I just don't want. I don't want them to be drug up yet. That's what people are doing. They're pulling up their stuff. Okra is still going strong. So basil is still going strong. I think that as long as you water it and as long as it's still warm enough, your plants are still going to grow. So I don't pull them up until they look really bad. Now the other side looks horrible. But this side, leaving it alone. I'm just going to extend the bed out and plant what I need to plant. The only thing I'm worried about is rabbits. That's it. So growing food does not have to be complicated. I made it a little bit more complicated because the longer you do it, the more equipment you accumulate. It's just going to happen. If you start doing something, you're going to start buying stuff to make it easier for you or to make it make more sense. Initially, I was growing everything on the table. If you look at my videos from last year, you'll see everything was on the table. I did not have a grow station, and it did well. Did better this year though, because I did more. I developed a little process, and this process is ever evolving. You have to keep on trying to make things easier for yourself. Now, I don't have an irrigation system right now, but who knows? One day I may. One day soon, hopefully. So the process for me is to do it to grow on my grow table indoors because of the bugs and because I get a better germination when I can watch them. It's a controlled environment in there. I know what temperature it is. I know that I watered them. I don't forget about them because they're right there in my line of sight. Take them from the grow table. When they start sprouting, put them into the grow station. Once they get old enough and they look like they're strong enough and they're growing and they get ready to touch the lights sometimes, I put them into the greenhouse and I put them into those cement trays. Once they look like those that are in there right now, I transition them to the yard, and then I put some bone meal and blood meal out and try to harvest. Hope for the best, because you can't control everything. The rabbits are gonna come, the bugs are gonna come. You just plan enough for you and them. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. I thank you guys for being with me. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Remember to keep trying, keep evolving in your garden, and keep growing. Bye, y'all.